Good morning, and thanks for having me. My name is Thomas. I'm a graphic designer, and yeah, this is basically a summary of my life. Could be worse. And I'm a small part of the design studio at Heydays. We're 16 people, and in short, we work with branding and we do stuff like this. But today I'm going to talk about how the world is oriented around efficiency. And this is a sentence I hear a lot of work, and it became the subject for the recent project that we did with Whereby. And where we learned that the world is obsessed with success, efficiency, and performance. So the question of the day is, are we losing our roots? Are we losing ourselves, and are we losing ourselves in the chase for success and always being available, always being on, and always trying to maximize our potential? It's like in never-ending chase. Because stress is starting to become one of our biggest enemies. And we're actually called, my generation is actually called the burnout generation. And 39% of millennials are basically stressed out by their own lives, which is quite sad. And it paralyzes us, but the thing is that we don't stop. And one of our greatest skill is to burn out and continue working. And instead we have this tendency to push the everyday life away. Like, if it's not urgent, I don't care. We always prioritize what's urgent or what we value as most important. And we don't even have time to get a hobby or make goofy Christmas cards. And sometimes it's even a struggle to return a lost call because you just don't think you have the time for it. And the irony about it all is that we hire people for their minds, but their minds are stuffed. So, is the work chase controlling our lives? And this topic was the subject that we found in our research when we embarked the Whereby project. How performance, success, and efficiency basically are choking the time and space we need to think and grow and develop in a meaningful way. Because Whereby is a video meeting service. They let you work from wherever you want, because sometimes you might not be able to concentrate at work, or there's a lot of distractions at work, and maybe your focus is best at home. Like sometimes if you have a presentation, for instance, it could be nice to sit at home, be at peace and focus. Or you could turn, if you have a long commute, you could turn that commute into something valuable instead of sitting at the train being stressed out about all the things you have to do and that you're actually not doing it. Or maybe you want to stay closer to your family and your grandparents and so on, but still want to keep your job. But either way, Whereby is a product that lets you do all those things. They give people freedom to live the lives they want. Both their users and their employees. Because Whereby, I think at the moment there are 25 people spread across 12 locations. So the whole subject around flexible work is very much rooted in their culture and something that they deeply care about, because they they experience it every day. So together with Whereby, we wanted to inspire people to dream a little, to give them an alternative to performance-driven brands that we saw a lot of in this market, in this video meeting service market. There's a lot of talk about streaming quality and new features, and even some of the say, do your best work in a video meeting service, which is kind of ironic, but I see it more as a tool to help you get there. But yeah, creating a universe with room for imagination and dreams, and basically go the opposite way that anyone else did. And by daring to talk about the challenges and how to solve them. And I think that what's emotional branding is all about. It's to connect with your audience and to talk about how you can be a part of the solution. Whereby is not the answer to everything related to remote work. But they strongly believe in it, and they have experienced it, and they're willing to share their knowledge, be humble, address it, and they dare to talk about something more than the product and the technical features. So basically what we did when we started to shape the communication is that we chose a battle, and we took a stand against something that we didn't believe in and something that we didn't feel was right. Because as a brand, if you don't stand for something, then how can you attract a crowd? How can you make people relate to you as a brand? Because every brand want to connect with people on an emotional level, but still they don't dare to actually take a stand and have an opinion on something. So they're afraid of the conflicts, and they're afraid of getting enemies. But I think it's a good thing if you dare to get some enemies, because it should mean that you also get some fans. So in the design process, it was very important that design elements could carry this message, this subject about work-life balance. And the illustration played a big part of the solution. So we were very inspired by the dreamy landscape and how can we encourage people to dream. And if you want to achieve something like that, you really have to exaggerate the effect. You can't just use some happy colors and so on. You really have to push the boundaries. So we wanted to push people's imagination and push our own imagination. And the hand-drawn illustration is also a tribute to allow yourself to take your time. Compared to many other styles of illustration that we see, which can be done quite quickly with vectors and everything. Things can be done quick, but the whole point was that it was hand-drawn and kind of came from a new place. So people can also appreciate the craft and explore the details. So what we did was to create two panoramas, which we can kind of crop the way we want and pick out elements and basically just play with our own layout and combinations. So by digging deep into Whereby's own theme and own culture, this also became the driving force behind making and interesting and meaningful content. And that is when you actually start to build a brand, when your communications and actions are a proof of what you actually are trying to say. Because it's very easy to say something emotional, like we like horses, blah blah blah, and then but you have to prove your actions and your stand. Find a purpose that's rooted in the team culture. Branding can become a very powerful tool to contextualize your product. And I think this is where what we learn most from, that if you don't have it rooted in the internal culture, the whole driving force behind pushing the brand further, it's very hard. So by enabling Whereby to own their own agenda, we show them how they can connect with their audience on a deeper level, on a more meaningful level. So I'm just trying to do a quick summary of what we thought was most important and kind of a key takeaway. The internal culture and the product and the society we live in. If there's a link between those three, and I think you need all three to kind of get as a powerful message as possible, then you have something magic going on. And this is also something that I find extremely meaningful in my work life, that I encourage all of you to pursue, is to always chase for positive change. And especially in a branding point of view, that I think every company has a greater meaning than just features and products, but that they don't necessarily dare to talk about. So I think we can help them and push for it and always chase for it. Because for us as users, it's also much more meaningful and valuable. Yeah, in a position to push for those environmentally and socially sustainable values. And remember to spend time with your family and friends. Thank you.